Hi everybody, this is Hillary McElhaney, the Nurse Preceptor. Welcome to my YouTube channel. If this is your first time finding me, please subscribe to the channel. I'm going to be covering some different topics related to medical preparedness and doing things on your own at home. Today I will be talking about how to set up a nebulizer for home use. If you haven't already purchased a copy of my book, You're on Your Own, Preparing for the Impending Healthcare Crisis, I highly recommend that you do so, and I will put purchase links in the description below the video. I'm going to show you first of all the equipment that I purchased for home nebulizer use. First of all, this is a home nebulizer. I purchased it on Amazon for about $35. I think it was $35. It may have been a little bit less when I purchased it a year ago. This is the brand SDOM, and it's just a standard compressor nebulizer. I also purchased a separate set of masks, tubing, and a medication reservoir so that more than one person can use this without having to necessarily disinfect everything in between people. And I also purchased a box of normal saline bullets, 5 mils each, and this is sterile saline intended to use in the nebulizer. So I'm going to show you a couple things about my nebulizer. First of all, this is the compressor. It has an on-off switch and it has a place where you can plug in your tubing. This is a toggle that you can use to adjust the amount of flow that you're getting through the nebulizer. The other things that come in this kit are tubing and a couple of different face masks. This one here, I'll show you. This is an adult-sized face mask. It has a elastic band that goes around the back of the head, and you can put it on like this. It fits loosely, but it is enough that when you plug in the nebulizer and you get the moisturized mist blowing up on the face, it makes it where you can breathe it in and you're not having to actually hold it up in front of you. This is a pediatric mask that comes with it. Obviously, it's for a tiny face. And what I use when I'm using the nebulizer is this mouthpiece. And this would plug in like that, and you just take kind of puffs on it, like you're trying to take a deep puff of a cigarette or a vape. It's kind of a similar concept. And it comes with a medication reservoir, or in this case, we're just going to be using saline. So I'm going to show you what to do here. I'm going to pan down to the equipment. First of all, I'm going to open up one of my saline bullets. Keep in mind that when you are breathing in regular air, it is not sterile. So the saline does not necessarily need to be sterile, but I will recommend that if you have sterile saline to use, it's better because that way you're not breathing in any bacteria that are unintended. So what we do is we just shoot the medication right into the reservoir, or in this case, the saline. Most of the medications that you might get from a pharmacy also have to be diluted with saline, so it's important to know how much you need to dilute it and do that properly before you set this up for use. This is my mouthpiece, and I'm going to plug it in. It goes right onto the reservoir like a cap, and you twist it so that it doesn't come off. On the bottom of the medication reservoir, there is a adapter that you plug one end of your tubing into. Okay, plugs in just like that. And then the other end of the tubing is going to plug in to the adapter on the machine. Sorry, I need to put this down. It's hard to do with one hand. Okay. Now we're ready to turn it on. So we're going to turn it on, and you can see the mist. It's just blowing out saline mist. And if you want a little bit less flow, you can turn it down. And at this point, it's ready to use. So if you're having somebody use the nebulizer and they're able to hold on to it, it's got a little finger loop. You just hold on to it and there's going to be a certain amount of the medication that is lost as it's nebulizing if you're using the mouthpiece. Sometimes it's a little bit easier to use one of the face pieces instead. And what you do here is you just simply take off the mouthpiece, you plug in the face mask just like that, and it's the same concept. You would breathe in and out. It lets you breathe out through holes in the mask. And how you choose to do either a mouthpiece or a face mask is just going to depend on who is using it and how capable they are of holding on to something like this for the 20 minutes or so it takes to get all of this in. I can do a separate video on why you would nebulize and what you would nebulize, but in this case, just normal saline. This is something that I use sometimes when I have upper respiratory just irritation, like crud. I've got really bad allergies, and sometimes I get kind of choked up where it's hard to cough, and I feel like everything's just really gummed up in my system. Nebulizing a little bit of saline helps to liquefy those secretions, makes it easier to cough things up, and it does help to soothe irritated airways. I like having one of these on hand just in case of emergencies. If you purchase my book, You're on Your Own, Preparing for the Impending Healthcare Crisis, I go through a whole chapter of respiratory. Respiratory situations are scary. It's really frightening not to be able to breathe. And it's one of the things that a lot of times you can start to manage it on your own at home and maybe not even require a trip to the urgent care or the emergency department. As you know, those co-pays really add up. They get super expensive. This is a one-time cost, and then you have this equipment that if you're careful with it and you're able to dry it out, clean it between uses, and take good care of it, you should be able to maintain this equipment for a long time. So I will include some links to similar products below the video. I really, really encourage you to have one of these at home, especially heading into flu season as we are getting ready to do. These are appropriate for all ages. Even a small child could use the pediatric mask and just put it on their head and just tell them to breathe normally. You're going to feel a little bit of cool mist on your face. It feels kind of good, especially if you're not feeling well. And it a lot of times can help with some of the symptoms that might otherwise bring you to the urgent care or to the emergency department. These are very easy to use. Eventually the reservoir will just run dry and then you're done. And you can, if it's something like saline, you can repeat it as many times as you want to. There's no real contraindication to doing that at all. If it's medication, you want to follow the instructions given by your physician and your pharmacist. All right, like, share, subscribe. Please get a copy of my book, and I would strongly consider getting one of these for home use. It's well worth the money. See you next time. Bye.